Hey there, everybody. Where we last left, our intrepid heroes are at a bit of a sleepover at Celestia's castle. Unfortunately, they had to leave early because Discord showed up and had a bit of a barbecue. But then, of course, the castle submerged itself under the sand and we got away on chickens. So everything's fine. I'm gonna check up, see how it's going. Here we go. So, it's been a while since I've played this, and I have a couple questions for Celestia, of course, but I think first we should heal up. Yeah, that's really not a whole lot of healing. So, Celestia, I get that you're kind of a hands-off, well, hooves-off type of teacher, and that's perfectly cool, but, wait a minute.
Princess Tia, are you headed to Ponyville? Yes, it is a mission of great importance. Return to the castle and tell the others we're safe. Yes, Princess. Take care.
So, Celestia, concerning the fact that Twilight had amnesia there, you really... Recovery spring. Okay. And, of course, a battle. Anyway, Celestia, concerning the fact that Twilight had amnesia there, it's really not a good idea to... Well, another battle, of course, to trust that things are going to work out like they did. I mean, there's a good chance she could have run off and put everything in jeopardy, because it seemed like there was something you weren't telling her, and that when you're confronted with something like that, when you have amnesia or something similar to that, that could be really scary. And there's a chance Twilight could have trusted neither of you now. Of course, this is a story, and there has to be a good guy and a bad guy, but I think we could really benefit from slowing down a little bit. And maybe things would work out a little better. So, hey Fluttershy, I guess we're in Ponyville now, and we're going to go into the pub to have a drink and forget all about this. That makes sense, I guess. I like the music.
Zikora's potions are their own sort of magic.
That mirror at the counter, she's so beautiful. Oh, better keep Flash away from her.
The Empire gets more and more aggressive every day. It's only a matter of time before they come here.
Interesting. Oh, hey Charlie. Might as well go up and talk to her.
Are fools allowed in here? What do you think? Oh, alright.
Well, now that I think about it, she is a little short for a teacher. I saw a griffin flying around the mountains to the north. Okay, I bet that will not at all be useful later on in the game. Oh. Hey Fluttershy.
At the very least, you could give me a response. Wait a moment. I remember her from the letters. Twilight, it's her.
Now you decide to use something to jog my memory with, of course.
A skilled tamer of animals with a timid and quiet nature. Where she goes, her rabbit is sure to follow.
Shy's fine, I guess. Either that or F-Shy.
That's Shy. She was one of your friends. Whoa. Think she'll accompany us?
Most likely, but if this is anything like Final Fantasy VI, not for a while yet. We'll see.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I really can't help. I'm not much in a fight.
So you talked to a rabbit to get her to talk. Originally that was a dog. I think it's kind of neat they switched it out with a rabbit. So the music in that scene was Fluttershy's Lament. Sounded like your typical Super Nintendo custom track. I find it a little jarring as it's the only track I've run into that's been switched other than maybe the opening, My Little Pony theme at the load screen. It really doesn't fit with the game, but I don't know, it's Fluttershy, it's fun, why not? I can see Brony's.
My friend Zikora is a powerful zebra alchemist.
Is that so?
She lives in the Unicorn Range.
Awesome. Anyway, I can see Brony's dancing to it in a rave. It never was my scene, but I do enjoy it.
We have to prepare to fight. Sombra could attack at any moment.
Wow, that was loud. I originally thought it was something by Bass Hunter, believe it or not. Bass Hunter? Bass Hunter? I'm not sure which. Not keeping up with you kids anymore. So far I haven't had too much to say about the game in terms of criticism. I do like that they have Flash in the role of Locke. I think he's a good character. I think it's one of the few characters that wouldn't... oh hey, Colgate. The only other character I could think of possibly would be Rainbow Dash, but she's used later on in the game, so he makes sense, being the one male character. It does, however, unfortunately get rid of Apple Bloom, which I look forward to having the full CMC in the group, but oh well. It's Philly fantasy, what can I say? The fact that it even exists, I'm really happy with. I'm not going to criticize it for not being what I want it to be, but I will criticize it for not having Apple Bloom, which makes me sad. It makes sense to continue to give Flash a weapons command, or tools command, I don't remember which it was in Pony Fantasy, because, well, even though he can cast magic in this game, which he can do later on, Celestia is supposed to be the magical heavy hitter, I take it, and she gets a summon special later on in the game, so there's really not a whole lot to criticize about that. I mean, it does change the way you play with the characters still, but that's okay. I only really have one criticism of the game so far, and that's something that's been kept consistent with Pony Fantasy 6, and that's having Discord in the role of Kefka. It made sense in Pony Fantasy 6 because, well, there weren't very many bad guys in My Little Pony, and it really didn't need them. The closest it had was Discord, and yeah, I mean, there were a lot more bad guys to choose from. I would have personally put Tarek in the role, but that's just me. I'm sure the ROM hacker had a reason for doing what he did. By no means a ROM hacker, and I'm not even going to guess how much work went into making this game the way it is, which I'm having a lot of fun playing it so far. But to me that is a weakness, because Discord really just doesn't care about good, bad. He just wants to do what he wants to do, which is just create as much chaos as he possibly can and just have fun in the moment. And he might have been better as maybe a side villain. Ultros, one of the dragons, something like that. The reason the ROM hacker chose the character he chose to play Ultros is because he needed a character with tentacles, he says, but ROM hacker, by the way, is Drakey C. I think Discord's tail would have worked just fine for the tentacle. There's another character later on which didn't appear altered when I first played this game through, with tentacles, of course.
Equip relics to gain a variety of abilities. This one increases my speed.
That's gotta be embarrassing.
Relics give your party members a variety of abilities. For example, Fury Band allows you to counterattack in battle. Thief Shoe lets you steal items from enemies. Wing Shoe add the dive command to your battle list. Back Guard prevents back and pincer attack.
Wonderful grammar, by the way, wonderful grammar.
Other relics raise stats, negate status ailments, or teach spells, and some are more unique.
So that was the relics walkthrough. Pretty straightforward. I've played this game probably 4 or 5 times through in the past few years. It's interesting, I played this game maybe 6-7 years ago, and I really loved it. I had played Final Fantasy V before that. It took me probably 6 years to beat. That is a grind-heavy game, and I love grinding in games. There's something very relaxing about it. It's not for everyone, and that's fine. This game's going to be probably pretty grind-heavy, but I'm going to cut it out for the most part. I might do something with the footage later on, but fade to black every time I do some grinding.
80 bits per night, well,
that was awfully seductive.
it's all in how you read it.
So yeah, there is one more thing I could potentially criticize about this game, but I don't think it's very fair to, and that's how the whole thing with Twilight walking around Celestia's castle was handled. Originally, if memory serves, you're just kind of getting a feel for how Prince Edgar lives, and it's an interesting little thing to walk around and talk to various people. Get the idea that he's really the good guy. He's got a couple of vices, but that's okay. The ROM hacker really couldn't put Celestia in a position where she'd be guiding Twilight, so... I mean, having her discover everything organically works, that's kind of the way Celestia would do things, but When I think about it, that could really freak Twilight out. I mean, who are you and why are you being so secretive?
What's that smell?
Maybe the stove?
It's actually the flowers. And this, her favorite tea.
Wow.
These dishes, moon patterns.
I'm not really a game designer, but it makes sense that if the character says, "What's that smell?" The first thing that the player is going to want to approach might be the stove. If for some reason they don't see the flowers, that is.
I totally missed the flowers.
That was in the original game, though, so it's a minor gripe.
Luna, she was here? Who? You know Luna?
Of course, she and Zecora stay here all the time. A griffin was by looking for her the other day. Is something going on? I can't say for sure if something's going on, but I can say that Luna lives pretty well for living in efficiency. She has almost the same number of beds as Celestia. Anywho, here comes a lot of grinding, so I'm just going to cut this part. This is going to take a while, so...
20 cool minutes later, oh yeah.
And we are back. I can't help but get images of T2 with a griffin looking for Luna. It's kind of like looking for John Connor. Come to think about it, she does hold the secret to saving the world. So, here we go. This is going to be a pretty battle-heavy area. I'm under the impression that Drakey C might have somehow increased the number of random encounters. It's kind of cool. Oh, hey Griffin.
We know who that is.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about Guild of the Griffin because, well, it's pretty obvious that's who we're going to run into, anybody who knows MLP. Gilda was at one time Rainbow Dash's friend when they were both small and in flight school, and, well, they drifted apart. And I think episode 2 of My Little Pony, either episode 2 or episode 1, it was one of the very first episodes, we get to meet her. Rainbow Dash is having her over after years at flight school, and, well, the first thing we notice is she speaks in dated slang, and she absolutely positively hates the idea of Rainbow Dash having any other friend except her. At least that's the way it seems. Pinkie Pie doesn't get what's going on, and she continues to try to kind of, not so much come between Gilda and Rainbow Dash, but enjoy their fun, because that's what Pinkie Pie's about. She's about having fun, and Gilda's cruel to her. So Pinkie Pie decides to be kind of low-key and out of the way, and kind of nursing her wounds, and she observes Gilda on her own without realizing Pinkie Pie's watching her, being either cruel or stealing in town, and she's determined to set that right, especially after Gilda's cruel to Fluttershy. The whole episode it has this theme going on of Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash liking to play pranks, and Gilda's down with pranks, and Pinkie Pie gets the idea. Let's have a party for Gilda. And the whole time, you think Pinkie's being passive aggressive, well, directly aggressive, but not admitting to it. And there are all these pranks going on. And Gilda happens to be the recipient of every one of them. I'm sure those who have seen the episode know that, well, turns out Rainbow Dash was actually the one playing the pranks, and she thought it was fun, and Gilda blows up. Rainbow Dash watches her being incredibly nasty and intolerant. Everything falls apart, and Gilda walks off in a huff because, Rainbow Dash tells her the truth, and she doesn't like it. I guess the reason I'm talking about this is because I really like that episode. Also, Gilda's waiting right there, but, it shows that sometimes we grow past our friends, and, well, that's okay. I mean, I feel Gilda's dated slang had a purpose, and that was to show she hadn't grown and Rainbow Dash had. There were also enough similarities between Rainbow and Gilda that you could see why they might be friends. Cutely enough, they both shared a similar musical motif on an electric guitar, which was kind of cool.
So, here we go.
Hey, losers!
Gilda! Gilda! What are you doing here? You were shadowing us earlier, right?
So you saw me, huh? Too bad, dweebs. I've got my orders. King Sombra sends his regards.
This is the third boss of the game, and interestingly enough, he in Final Fantasy VI uses basically the same tactics. Now I remember there was one boss where you could confuse the minions, and that's what I try here. But it doesn't work, of course. To me, this fight has a lot less impact because there's no Rainbow Dash, and Rainbow Dash was Gilda's friend, and I think the whole thing of Gilda betraying, ponies and turning on them like this with King Sombra would be a lot more effective. But, oh well. There's only one character Dash could be in the place of, and that's Flash. Because Dash doesn't mind doing some underhanded things to do what needs to be done. I mean, she stole from the hospital because she wanted to finish reading a book. Once the bears are eliminated, the real fight will begin, which they're fairly easy. Surprised by how little Gilda actually hits, and her bears actually hit us. It's only with her magical power of the wind attack that anything really happens. That's too major. Anything else I can really recover from. Just a couple more rounds of this, and of course she's going to call for some type of help, or actually, spoiler alert, we're going to get some surprise help. It's funny, I've played all the way up to the World of Balance, and I really can't complain of the bosses having too much health, though this battle does seem to be taking a while. It is about to turn, though, in just a couple seconds, so here we go.
Lame. Is that all you've got?
Although not having Dash disappoints me, I mean, this does kind of show us that old friends will turn on us. I mean, Sombra has something he's clearly offering Gilda to make her do this. So he basically bought her as a hitman, or hit griffin? Hit lady? Well, she's here to kill us, that's for sure. So, here comes the battle shift I promised you a couple turns ago.
Alright, that does it. Now I'm gonna get serious.
Gilda!
Princess Luna?
Gilda, you traitor. You betrayed Equestria. You've sided with Sombra.
Give me a break. He's gonna rule Equestria. I just picked the winning side.
You're a fool. Sombra will never rule.
And who's gonna stop him? You? Don't make me laugh.
Such insolence. Do you truly think Sombra's power outstrips your own?
Sombra's power? I'll give you a taste of his power myself. As for magic Stormwind, still here, Luna.
I guess I have no choice.
I'll bring your crown to Sombra as my trophy.
It's true only one remains, but only one is needed.
Just one, you'll see.
Exhausting. Luna is substituting for Sabin, the hand-to-hand combat guy, and she is about to make short work of Gilda here.
Such power.
I give you one chance. Run now, and when we next meet, come to your senses. Bye-bye, Birdie.
She'll be back.
And...
Luna!
Tia? She's only right there. Yeah, that's right, just step right between them, make it real dramatic.
The sisters are reunited. Whoa.
This is Princess Luna? I thought the Princess of the Night would be evil and frightening.
Seriously? Evil and frightening? That's the first assumption you're gonna make, Twilight? No, I just look that way on Nightmare Night. I like Luna, she's charming. So, sister, why come here yourself?
We are here
to see Sakura. Then is it time to act? You should know that. Sakura and I have been doing our best leading the main force in your stead.
Well, with you leading them, you must be in pretty good shape.
But if you're here, then what of Canterlot? Is our kingdom safe?
For now, but it won't stay that way. Not until we stop the Empire in its tracks.
That will probably involve slaughtering Somber's mindless thralls, which can't help what they're doing.
Indeed. Glad to see you've come to your senses.
I'm sorry, sister. I didn't wish to see my ponies go to war. I should have listened to you.
Hey, at least you're prepared for war. Long pause, and...
There's no need for apologies.
Are they gonna kiss?
None of us want war, but Somber must be stopped, and for that, we do what we must.
For the younger sister, Luna's perspective is more reasonable.
Agreed. Let's go!
And finally, okay, we are headed off for the pony that is Master of the Sky, Master of Equestria, probably Master of several languages, keeps it light with her humor, Master of Martial Arts, and all around fun. Oh my goodness, we're walking off with a pony Dolph Lundgren. Cool. Alrighty then, so here looks like a good place to stop for now, I'd say. Oh yeah, before I forget, let me briefly show off the battles. Okay, so first up we faced off against a badminton birdie and some grubs. After that, more cave bugs. When we were finally outside, we proceeded to chase some squirrels and eat pretty well that day. We also had some freshly gassed squab. The anthropomorphic rhino was a pain in the butt, but he went up like everything else. Inside the cave, we faced off against karate ponies and pretty birds. Then we ran away from some gardening. That's all for now. Thank you for stopping by, and peace out.